So we're going to get right to it. I have learned, and all of this I know for a fact because I've been targeted by these secret societies, by the occult, by dark organizations. And it turns out that the person that was hired, that was sent towards me, was part of this secret organization, right? And so in this secret organization, this is why I don't like groups, because at a lower level you think you're joining, the Masons, the Eastern Stars, and you're going to get a spiritual awakening, and you're going to be able to use your spiritual gifts and learn occult knowledge and all that stuff. One, join you don't need to join any type of group to be able to gain access to your spiritual gifts or to occult knowledge or any of that, because once you go ahead and you heal and you raise your vibration and you take care of your vessel and you go ahead and you abstain from sex and you raise up your sexual energy from your root chakra all the way to your crown chakra, you go ahead and you activate the right side of your brain, which is why in the Bible it says cast your net to the right, because while we're here without doing that, we are only using 10% of our brain. When we go ahead and we go through the Kundalini process and we activate the right side of our brain, we end up using 100% of our brain, and our spiritual inheritance is released to us, which is our spiritual gifts and wisdom. But that's another story, right? So we're going back. I'm sorry, I get excited. We're going back to these, to the secret societies and how it relates to the Epstein files and the children. I'm not really going to go into like what is being seen in the Epstein files. I'm concerned about the children, how these children ended up there, right? And how not only this is what we're seeing now, but this is still happening, right? And nobody's talking about it. Usually because people get afraid, because these people are some serious people. They're not to play with, right? However, we have divine protection over here. Hi. Yes. We have divine protection. And that's my role. My job is to expose. So this is what we're going to do. So through the grace of God, I was targeted by one of these. Well, it wasn't one of these people. My karmic family was part of these secret society diabolicalness, right? Where they serve the Prince of Darkness. And in these cults and things like that, what they do is, and this one specifically, the one I know, which relates to the Epstein files, because in order for these people to serve whatever entity it is that they're praising, they have to do human sacrifices, which means that they have to shed blood. And they usually like children because they like that vitality. And this is how it relates to celebrities and all that good stuff. The reason why it relates to celebrities and all of that is because in order for the celebrities to gain the youth, to look youthful and look pretty, right? I don't know if you noticed, but sometimes they just look like they're dying, like they're just like skeletons. They look like skeletons. Like you could tell that something is wrong with them. And then a couple of weeks later, a month later, you see that they're all vibrating and looking great. The reason for that is that when they take these children and they traumatize them, they're able to abstract, like take out a substance from them that is generated through fear, through torture, to pain. I did a video one time about like they need traumatized blood, right? And so it sounds crazy, right? It sounds crazy, but this is how that is. In order for them to look youthful, in order for them to have vitality, in order for them to heal themselves, they go ahead and they do forbidden rituals with children, where they take their youth, they take their vitality, and sometimes their innocence, their purity, right? This is the type of things that we're dealing with. So now going back to And also the chosen individuals, people that they know that have spiritual gifts, that are chosen by God, if they're not awoken to who they are, these people are susceptible as well to being sacrificed. That's why it's important that we wake up and remember who we are. Right? So we're going to go back to the systems in place. So at a time before, I was speaking about how these secret organizations have people in place, right? And how they have the schemes, the relationship scams, where somebody will portray to be a lover and set you up to be kidnapped. Or somebody would portray to be a lover and set you and your children up to be kidnapped. They have people in high places, people like organized. It's organized crime. These are not the regular schmegulars. You understand me? These are people who have power. People who have people in power. People who have people in place. Where everything is coordinated in such a way that you wouldn't think that is these type of people. But yes, they'll have people who their role is to travel state to state and hunt for children. They have organizations where they'll pay families to sacrifice individuals in the bloodline for fame, fortune, youth, beauty, like that. One thing I want to make it clear, when you serve Hashatan, the demonic prince, the prince of hell, I don't know how to, Hashatan, the devil, that includes sacrifices. That includes shedding blood. So again, to the things in place in order for these children to go missing, right? Organized crimes where, they'll have people in place. People who their job is, they'll say, I travel state to state, I do this job. No, you're traveling state to state, hunting children down, hunting women down, looking for people who are like, who have little to no support. And they'll target these individuals and make them even go crazy. So that, like with dark magic, they'll target individuals with dark magic to make them go crazy, so that they end up putting their children, or their children be taken away from them, and then they place these children in these homes of diabolical people where they serve the devil, and they are out here molesting children and sacrificing children. And who's going to look for them? And then they'll say, they'll say such and so ran away. A runaway child. No, it wasn't a runaway child. There's a system in place where people would get money for turning in their kids. Type of scenario. And so the same way, like in these Epstein files where these children were being molested and stuff like that, that's how they got those children. With the systems that they have set up, where they were targeted, where they stole these kids. And then what happened with the kids, right? They were placed in families and bloodlines that those kids don't even belong to them. Their memory was wiped so that they couldn't remember the torture that they went through. They were studied. Specifically the ones that had gifts. Those were tortured. And you'll say, how do you know? Well, because I went through it. I know what that is. I know what that is. So, just wanted to bring awareness onto that. As I remember more about these schemes that they have. No, you know what? I'm going to come back for a part 3 with the dark magic and stuff.